Peace, family. Y'all know who it is. It's Bakari Lumumba, back once again, the progenitor of LumumbaSpeaks.com, a Black empowerment initiative where we believe we can gain a competitive advantage by always betting on Black. Make sure you subscribe and the like button. We're watching a dual stream once again from B Colon Network in Lumumba Speaks. Once again, B Colon Network, the Pan African social media extraordinaire, and of course, Lumumba Speaks, a Black empowerment initiative where we believe we can gain a competitive advantage by always betting on Black. Make sure you hit the subscribe, like button, and the notification bell for updates on all future videos. Back once again, family. I think we're going to have another provocative and evocative um, conversation this evening regarding why do Black people buy a new outfit for Easter? As we know, Easter just passed, the Christian holiday that commemorates the resurrection of one Jesus Christ. So we're not seeking. I'm not here to disabuse people of their belief, but just to simply ask a question, right, regarding why do Black people buy a new Easter outfit. So definitely want you all to tap in, be part of the conversation. Brother Abdul Sharif says salute to Brother Professor Lumumba. Appreciate that, brother. Definitely appreciate that 100%. Hopefully you can tap in and be part of the conversation as well. But I just want to make sure I make this clear. We're not seeking to disabuse brothers and sisters of their Christian faith. We're simply looking to have a provocative conversation. That is, why do Black people buy a new outfit for Easter? And we're seeking to interrogate conspicuous consumption in the Black community, right? So, in the social and economic ramifications of said action. So, that's what we're going to be tapping into. But make sure before we get started, I want to make sure we go over the ground rules here at Lumumba Speak. So once again, family, as you all know, diversity of thought is welcome. Keyword, diversity of thought is welcome. No racial epithets are allowed of any kind. No epithets of any kind are allowed. This is a space for Black empowerment. We believe in the 3 N's of Black power, and that is, of course, self-respect, self-defense, and last but not least, self-determination. So we want to respect ourselves as African people, and so there will be no use of racial epithets of any kind here on today's live. Facts over feelings. Number 3, facts over feelings. As you all know, my position is very clear. No ad hominems, right? You want to attack the person, not attack the argument the person's making, not the person themselves, right? So facts over feelings. And then, of course, last but not least, no fundamentally false statements. So once again, you can have whatever perspective you want, but you need to make sure that you're undergirding your opinion in some basis of factual information. For example, you can believe that LeBron James is the best player ever. He's the GOAT. However, if you were to claim that LeBron was the GOAT because Michael Jordan only won 2 championships rather than 6, that would be a fundamentally false statement. So that's an example of a fundamentally false statement. And of course, last but not least, family, our mission is neither to exonerate or vilify, but to challenge conventional wisdom and re-examine what has previously been accepted as fact. So just want to make you aware of that, family, before we begin today's broadcast. And then, of course, oftentimes we start a live, we discuss a Black history fact. And so many of you may be unaware that today, 74 years ago today, we lost, our great ancestor transitioned to the realm of the ancestors. We're talking about none other than Dr. Carter Goodwin Woodson, also known as Dr. Carter G. Woodson. As we all know, Dr. Carter G. Woodson was an African-American historian, author, journalist, and the founder for the Association for the Study of African-American Life in History, also known as the SALA. He was one of the first scholars to study the history of the African diaspora, including African-American history, a founder of the Journal of Negro History. In 1916, Woodson has been called the father of Black history. And in February 1926, he launched the celebration of Negro History Week, the precursor of Black History Month. Woodson was an important figure to the movement of Afrocentrism due to his perspective of placing people of African descent at the center of the study of history and human experience. So definitely want to make sure that we give praise and honor to our great ancestor, our esteemed ancestor, the father of Black history, the author of a seminal text, Miseducation of the Negro, Dr. Carter Goodwin Woodson, who transitioned to the realm of the ancestors on this day 74 years ago, April 3rd, 1950. Shay, Black Power. So also, family, a rather serious issue we want to make sure that we tap into. Have a brother on the continent. Right, so want you all to sign the petition. I'm going to put the petition in the link for you all to sign, Justice for Abu Bakar Box. Many of you may be unaware, but Brother Abu Bakar Conte, aka DJ Box, was unlawfully arrested, kidnapped, and abducted by the government of Sierra Leone in the Guinea airport. It has not since Saturday, 23rd of March, 2024. One of the major issues here is he's a member of the opposition party in Sierra Leone, All People's Congress Party in Sierra Leone. But he's been residing in Guinea for over 5 years. Box, of course, is a devoted family man. We are asking people to sign off on the petition to support our efforts in putting pressure on both the governments of Sierra Leone and Guinea to allow the family and his lawyers to have information on his whereabouts and legal representation. More importantly, I think this is one of the biggest details here is that there was never a warrant for the brother's arrest, and that he was not on any known wanted list. The family only became aware of this alleged unlawful arrest when a press release by the Sierra Leone government was issued. Every citizen has a right to basic due process. Kidnapping is not the way. So if you could please sign the petition. I've signed the petition. I've donated as well. So this is the situation, family, that if you could please, once again, I want to put the link in the chat regarding this issue. And if you could support in terms of freeing this brother, we know that unfortunately this is a situation, and that link, it's kind of rough. I don't know if you all are going to be able to click on that, but if you can, please let me know. But this is a situation in which it's very important that we do all that we can to support this brother. I don't want to give too much information in terms of who he is related to, but for those of you who are in the know, this is an issue that we want to make sure we're cognizant of in terms of when we're doing Pan-African work. It's not simply intellectual exercise, but we also want to make sure we're addressing boots on the ground issues that affect the everyday lives and citizens of our brothers and sisters on the continent throughout the diaspora. So just want to make sure you all are aware of that. Very good. So, family, I'm going to put the link in the chat. The link is in the description. I'm going to put the link in the chat as well. I want you all to tap in, be part of the conversation as we seek to interrogate why do Black people buy a new outfit for Easter. I know I was guilty of that growing up. I always got a new outfit for Easter, which was a great thing if you're a kid. Of course, you always want to, it's always a good thing to get new clothes, right? But I can even recall after I stopped attending church, I didn't go to church anymore once I left my parents' home. I showed up for one Easter and I just this new outfit. You can almost say it was a zoot suit, right? And so I think one of the questions is, why are we doing this? And I remember afterwards, I was like, man, I just spent like $300-$400 on a suit. Why did I do that, right? So I think these are some of the questions we can ask ourselves, right? Why are we doing these things, right? Where does it come from? And does it benefit us socioeconomically to do so? So definitely want you all to tap in, family, be part of the conversation. P-Funk 100 says left from speechless. So tap in, brother. I hope you can share with us. What do you mean by that when you say left speechless, right? So definitely tap in, be part of the conversation. You're watching the Movement Speak Free Crime Network. Once again, a dual stream where we're seeking to just have a conversation. This is kind of a light issue, right? We're not diving too heavy. We would do that later in the week. But why do Black people buy a new outfit for Easter, right? So definitely, family, tap in, be part of the conversation. Definitely want to hear what you all have to say regarding that issue. Once again, this is coming from someone who's been guilty of doing this themselves, right? And so, this is in a situation where I'm acting like I'm holier than thou, but, I really want to interrogate the social economic ramifications for engaging in this behavior, right? So once again, family, the link is in the chat. The link is also in the description. Tap in, be part of the conversation. This is the conversation I really want to hear from you all, from the audience, regarding why do Black people buy a new outfit for Easter. So once again, I don't want to come off as a didactic. This is not a situation where we're seeking to disabuse individuals of their Christian faith. Not the case at all. Just simply looking to have a conversation regarding why do we buy a new outfit for Easter. Right? So just something to unpack, something to question, and truly looking at the socioeconomic ramifications of conspicuous consumption in the Black community. Right. So then, of course, some brothers from the Caribbean or the continent can tap in. I would love to know. Okay. So brother says, "Oh, he was talking about the background." Okay, he left some speeches. Right. Yeah. This is hood to hood. Yeah, hood to hood. Absolutely. So there's a little background music. I thought I kind of spiced it up a little bit, so it wouldn't just be as dead as we were, of course, streaming. So. Wasn't raised in a religious household. Well, I mean, you don't have to be but the same man, but I'm quite sure that you are aware that this is something that took place. So I would love for you to tap in and just share your thoughts. Once again, this is a situation where this isn't really a deep introspective conversation, kind of light conversation, but just, something I thought about while I was on the treadmill. And I said, you know what, let me just ask a question, put it out there and get some feedback in terms of what do people think as to why we do this. but I'm really seeking to interrogate um, the social economic ramifications, right, of this behavior. So once again, tap in, Brother Sandman. As you know, the link is in the chat, the link is in the description. You can be a blessing to the show. You can cash out Lumumba Speaks. We're still back on, we're struggling, but we're on the road back to, of course, monetizing the channel. So P-Funk 100, yeah, there you go. Hood to Hood, still a good choice, bro. No doubt, absolutely. P-Funk 100, I hope you can tap in, be part of the conversation as well. So, and I hope Brother Bawada can tap in because I have an update for him as well. But and if you're watching on Twitter, you can tap in on YouTube, Lumumba Speaks, and the link is in the chat. And if you're watching on Twitter, once again, you can tap in on Lumumba Speaks. If you go to YouTube, the link is in the chat. The link's in the description. Definitely want to hear you all's thoughts regarding why do Black people buy a new outfit for Easter. So once again, not seeking to disabuse people of their religious belief. Just simply asking a question regarding the social economic ramifications of conspicuous consumption in the Black community at home and abroad regarding the Christian holiday of Easter. So, absolutely, family. Hopefully, if you are staying here in the States, we're starting to get some spring weather, right? I think we had a mild winter, to put it lightly. And so, definitely hope to hear from you all soon. Brother P Funk 100, brother Brother Sharif, salute for Brother Professor Lumumba, appreciate that. Definitely want to get you all thoughts regarding why this is the case. Before this is something that I even engaged in myself. Of course, growing up, I got a new Easter outfit. Don't know why, right? But it was just something that was done. Maybe there was some symbolism around it in terms of the rebirth, but I don't know, right? But it's not something I would actually ask my parents. Maybe I should ask my parents, why is that a cultural practice? And then, of course, the question would be, is this a practice that is done in other communities? Right? I don't know, but definitely would love to get you all started on the subject matter. So once again, you can tap in, family, and we're seeking to have a conversation this evening regarding why do Black people, right, Black folk, African people, buy a new outfit for Easter, particularly in terms of looking to interrogate the social economic ramifications of Black conspicuous consumption, right? Conspicuous consumption, family. So make sure you tap in. The link is in the chat, and we're seeking to have a great conversation this Wednesday evening. Today's Wednesday, yes? I believe it's Wednesday, yeah. But this Wednesday evening, as we provide a dual stream, dual broadcast with Bequalon Network, the Pan African Social Media Extraordinaire, and Lumumba Speaks, a Black empowerment initiative where we believe to gain a competitive advantage while always betting on Black. And then, of course, very quickly, family, before people start coming in, I want to make sure I go over this again, because one of the criticisms, of course, of Pan-Africanism is this belief that we're overly intellectual and we tend to intellectualize the issues that African people face at home and abroad rather than actually solve them. But this is an issue I think many of you need to be aware of, and we're seeking for brothers and sisters justice for Abu Bakr Abbas, right? This is a brother who is a member of the opposition party in Sierra Leone. He, for all intents and purposes, was kidnapped by the Sierra Leone government. He was the organizing secretary for the opposition party in Sierra Leone, the All People's Congress Party. And as a result, he's been living in Guinea for the past 5 years, and he was actually taken into custody. There was never an arrest warrant. He was never even on any wanted list. And the only reason, the way the family found out, was because the Sierra Leone government issued, released a press release regarding his capture. So if you could, family, please, tap in. If you need more information, I'm going to share this right now on Twitter. Right, so make sure you go on Twitter, and we want to make sure that you, at the very least, if you can't donate money, if you can sign the petition, family, sign the petition, justice from Abu Bakr Box. We want to make sure that we aren't simply intellectualizing the issues that African people face, but we're making sure that we're focusing on boots on the ground issues. So if you could tap in, family, that'd be greatly appreciated. But even if you can't tap in, what's more important is that you please sign the petition. I've signed the petition. I've donated money. I'm not asking you to do something that I haven't done it myself. But this came like there's a brother in the Pan African community who this was an issue, and so I'm going to do everything I can with my platform to make sure that we raise awareness of this issue. But all we're asking at the very least, is to, of course, sign the petition. It doesn't cost you any money to sign the petition. And so I put the link to the petition in the chat, and I will put the link also on my channel. Once again, it's on Twitter. I just put it on my Twitter page right now. But with that being said, family, tap in, be part of the conversation. We're seeking to have a conversation this evening regarding why do Black people buy new outfit for Easter. So once again, I've said this rather ad nauseum, but we're not seeking to disabuse people of their Christian faith. We know that Easter is a Christian religion. Depending on if you're Eastern Orthodox or you're practicing a form of Western Christianity, the date of Easter is different, right? But we're just seeking to unpack why. And I see you, Brother Sandman. I'm gonna bring you in very shortly. Why do Black people do this? And what are the socioeconomic ramifications of conspicuous consumption in the African American community? Brother Sandman, what say you? What's the word?
Hey, what's up?
How you doing, brother?
I'm doing fine. Yeah, I wasn't raised in a super religious household or anything like that.
Right.
And but I do recall when I was young and I spent time at my grandparents' house. They were super religious,
Mm-hmm.
practically lived in the church. So
Okay.
whenever I spent time with my over at my grandparents' house, we would always get super dressed up, to the T,
Right.
tucked in a 3-piece suit. I'm talking the vest and everything, even the little gold chain that
Okay.
connect from the
Okay.
vest to the suit. We would go in, Dapper Dan style with the
Gotcha.
bush afro and everything. So yeah, it was that was our entertainment for the most part. You know what I'm saying? Was going to church.
Right.
You know, so we weren't when it's a super religious family, they don't do a whole lot of worldly things. So when it comes to going out, you're not going to see they were like so religious. You're not going to see them going to like a whole bunch of movies or going out to eat because my grandmother was a great cook.
Well, let
So
me ask you this: what denomination were your grandparents? Because what denomination were they?
they were Baptists.
Okay, because that's something because I grew up Pentecostal, and so to hear someone say simply going to the movies is something that's worldly, um, it gives cultish to me.
Hmm.
Yeah, but go right ahead.
Yeah, I mean, I was just a child when this happened, and my mom and my uncles could probably elaborate on it more, in regards to like why they were so religious. But you
Hmm.
know, that was their spill. Everything revolved around Jesus. 24/7. You know, and whenever my grandmother spoke, she always brought in Jesus, or she always brought in God and to thank God for everything, And she even yeah. And so that was the life that they lived. So why do Black people get all dressed up for Easter? I guess it's just because, it's just so they can look good in church, you know.
Okay.
That's the spot, that's the hangout spot where all the people in the neighborhood go, to
Okay.
hang out with each other.
Right. Right. Well, yeah, it's just something to question, because growing, I grew up in church. I've said that a number of times on my here on the platform, but I never was told why. Never told why we actually would do what. you know, get a new outfit. I mean, of course, I was a kid, so I didn't take issue. I didn't take umbrage with getting a new outfit. But just a question I wanted to ask, because now I think of the social economic ramifications of conspicuous consumption, in which unfortunately you find individuals who sometimes are, and this is something I was guilty of when I was 20, 21 years old. I didn't even go to church anymore, and I decided to show up on the Easter Sunday wearing a suit that cost as much as my rent. Why do we do these things? That's the question I'm really looking to ask.
Yeah, I mean, my grandfather was a good breadwinner, so spending money on clothes wasn't a big deal for him. He worked, constantly, around the clock. So, and when he got home from work, he just gave his paycheck to my grandmother, and then she just went and spent it, buy things for the house, and buy all of her children and her grandchildren clothes and stuff like that. So, it probably would have been a better idea to invest that money in something long term, so that your offspring, your children, and your grandchildren can take that investment and use it later, like some other people do. But yeah, that was just their whole deal, and they were so deep into church that whatever extra money that they did had, they just gave it to the church anyway.
Mm,
You know, so
wow.
if it, after they paid all their bills, and they got some food and other necessities, the rest of the money went straight to the church, like practically every dime.
Right.
Hmm.
Okay. Very good. Very good. Very good. And so, you said you when you were at with your grandparents, this tended to be the norm that you were kind of um, had a did a deep dive temporarily into that type of lifestyle and behavior. I presume. Yes.
Yeah, I could say that. Yeah, whenever I spent time at my grandparents' house, I normally they babysitted me a lot,
Right.
so when I was a child, so that was the deal. If we was going to go anywhere, we was going to church.
Right. And so, what were your views of that as a child growing up? Did you see that as problematic? Did you see it as a benefit? I mean, what say you?
Going to church all the time?
Yes.
Uh, I didn't really understand what we were doing there, to be honest with you.
Okay.
Yeah, I just sat there and listen to the preacher preach and watch all, the sisters in the congregation, waving they
Saying
little fan,
right. Right.
what I mean, when they get hot in the summertime, or the brothers on the other side of the congregation, stomping their hands and clapping their feet to when the singing. And I
Right.
used to just sit there and just watch it. I didn't really it didn't really dawn on me what was really going on. I think I was just absorbing the vibe,
Hmm.
from the people. You know, that's basically what it was. I didn't really try to comprehend exactly what the whole point of going to church was all about.
Okay.
I was just getting the feel for people, and it was an all black church. You know how it is.
Gotcha. Gotcha. If you don't mind me asking, what state or metropolitan area were you in?
This was in Philadelphia.
Okay, the Illidale. Okay.
Yeah, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania.
Okay, the Illidale. Okay, I got you. Broad Street, North Philly.
Yeah. It was a huge church on right off of Broad Street. I believe
Okay.
it was called right off of Wissahickon Avenue. It's like one of the more famous churches in the country, I believe.
Mm,
Yeah, the name escapes me at this present time for some reason.
okay.
Uh,
And I
yeah,
take it, are you still in Philly?
I live right outside of Philadelphia,
Okay.
in the
Okay.
suburbs of Philadelphia. I don't
Okay.
live.
Are you in Jersey or you're like on the main line?
I'm in Jersey right now.
Okay. Okay. So you're across the Delaware River.
Hmm.
Okay. Very good. Very good. I know a little something about Philadelphia. Yeah, Delaware Valley. I know a little something about it.
Oh, okay. You spent some time in Philadelphia area.
A little bit, just a little bit, just a little bit, brother, just a little bit. I'll tell you this, y'all need to, hey, for it to be a major city, y'all need to do something about the airport, though.
Yeah, it's
Seriously,
really.
like seriously though, that it looks like it's falling apart, brother.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, what the French toast is going on? Like seriously though,
Uh,
like I was like, dude, I didn't feel safe walking in there. I was like, this shit gonna fall apart immediately.
Yeah, and they even be having like junkies just hanging out there nowadays too.
Oh, really?
On top of that, yeah, because we've been having. I don't know if you ever heard of like Kensington area of Philadelphia.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, they have like a really bad problem with fentanyl.
Okay.
So it's been going on for a while. A lot of junkies. So if they'll hang out at the airport terminal sometimes as
Mm,
well. So especially if you arrive in town late at night, coming off your
right.
flight, it'll probably be somebody sleeping out there.
Oh,
Yeah.
all right, I got you. I don't mean to laugh, but you'll be something. You coming in for a business trip, you get in late, and boom, that's what you're dealing with. So, Sister Medusa Sunshine, hope you can tap in and be part of the conversation. P Funk 100, same with you, family. As you know, you're watching a dual stream with B Quad Network and Lumumba Speaks. Make sure you hit the subscribe and like button, thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up, as well as the notification bell for future updates on videos. We're discussing why do Black people buy a new outfit for Easter, really seeking to unpack the social economic ramifications of conspicuous consumption in the African American community. So hope you all can tap in and be part of the conversation. Yes, Sister Medusa. The link is in the chat. The link is also in the description. So either the chat or description, you can get the link, tap in, be part of the conversation. So look forward to hearing from you. So yeah, that's rather interesting. Now here's the interesting thing with you, but saying, man, coming from Philadelphia, there's a very large African American Muslim Islamic community in Philadelphia. So did you ever notice any tensions between Black Christians and Black Muslims in Philadelphia?
No, that wasn't an issue at all, surprisingly. And as a matter of fact, I attended a Muslim private school when I
Mm.
lived in Philadelphia as a child. Yeah,
Do you mind sharing the name of it?
Sister Claire Muhammad.
Okay.
Yeah, it was actually run by the Nation of Islam.
Got you.
Right. Yeah, they opened up a church. I mean, well, it was a private school, and I actually attended that out in West Philadelphia.
Got you.
As far as like tensions in between Christians and Muslims, I personally didn't have any issues with that in regards to Muslims and Christians fighting an argument. I mean, they
Mhm.
might like get into a disagreement in regards to the scriptures because some of the stuff in the Bible and the Holy Quran are similar because they're both Abrahamic religions.
Right. And
So
you know what? If I could, very quickly, but I don't mean because you'll be surprised how many people are Christians who do not know that Islam is an Abrahamic religion. It's
yeah,
wild. But go right ahead, but I apologize for cutting you off.
right, yeah. So yeah, so sometimes like I know I have like one uncle who is like super religious too. So and he'll be outward um he'll express it outwardly that his belief and his faith in Christianity and in Christ, and he'll at times get in arguments with Muslims about what's right and what's
Mhm.
wrong. But he's like he has a fiery uh, uh
Disposition.
disposition when it comes to Christianity and his religious faith, but everything else, he's like a really nice person outside of that, you know what I mean? So he'll never really have any issues with people because that's basically what Philly was all about. Like if you wasn't in the streets acting wild, then people not going to treat you like you part of the streets. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
So it was there was a certain respect for Black people in the city that weren't involved in the street culture, so to speak. You know what I'm saying? So you could live in the same hood as somebody who's active in the streets, but they're not going to bother you because you know what I'm saying, because they know that that's not what you're about. You know what I'm saying? So
Hmm.
yeah, my family been having roots in Philadelphia for going on 100 years.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, my both of my grandparents on both my father's and my mother's side migrated to Philadelphia way back in like the 1940s. So, and they've been in North Philly the whole time. So, yeah, we have a long tradition in Philadelphia, whereas though people know us, so they don't really mess with us.
Right, right. So let me ask you this. You talked about attending the Claire Muhammad School as a child, and so I presume this is a primary education. Can you
Yeah.
talk to me about the curriculum?
Yes. When I went there, the only thing that they taught us was Arabic.
Hmm.
Um, they taught us mathematics. They taught us Black history, and they taught us some of the teaching of the Quran.
Hmm.
So basically, our day consisted of um, you'd arrive to the school, you would go straight to your class, you would sit down, and you would get your block of instruction. The first period be, math. Next period would be um, like the Arabic or something, and
Hmm.
then you would have lunch. And at lunch, it's a tradition. I mean, before in the Islamic tradition, it's a tradition that you have to wash your hands and your feet before you go and eat.
Right.
So after we were done our last class before lunch break, we had to go into this room, take our shoes off, and wash our hands and our feet. Then we went to the cafeteria to eat.
Right.
And
Known
then
as
after
voodoo, right? Is it voodoo?
voodoo, you say?
The ritual where the ritual cleaning.
Oh yeah, I don't recall the name of it at this present time, but
Okay, it's all good.
yeah, yeah, that's what we had to do. Then we went to
Blueprint there.
the cafeteria to eat. And after we ate at the cafeteria, they gave us time to go outside and hang out. Then we went back into class and we finished up our day with maybe some more Black history and some more mathematics and some more training. And yeah, and then and that was Monday through Thursday, and every Friday we spent the entire day inside of the mosque, because there's a mosque inside the building as well, where the imam would just pray and also give like his little speech or sermon. So that was our week. Monday through Friday would be the block of instruction, and then Friday you sit in the mosque and pray. And of course, there was Ramadan. That was the
Mhm.
only issue that I had in that school, is um because I was a Christian and I
Mhm.
went to a Muslim school. I didn't practice Ramadan.
Right.
So, but because it was a private school and they accepted kids that weren't just Muslim but other faiths as well, they still will provide food for you to eat at lunchtime,
Mhm.
even during Ramadan. But because the school was predominantly like 95 to 195% Muslim, if I go to the cafeteria to eat, the rest of the brothers in the school would, take umbrage with me.
Now, when you say brothers, do you mean kids or adults?
Kids,
Okay, gotcha.
yeah. But the school went from all the way from first grade to 12th grade.
Okay, and I would presume that it was accredited.
Um, well, I didn't graduate from there. I didn't go to high school there. I just went from to grade school there.
Okay,
So it was enough. I guess it was accredited enough to allow me to go to a regular school when I finished up high school.
okay,
Yeah.
okay. And so, one of the things we tend to find is that I think would be questionable is the fact that this is a situation in which they're teaching Arabic. So once again, African people are learning a alien tongue, an alien language.
Right.
But as we know, in Islam, it's an unwritten rule that you can't be a true Muslim or a good Muslim unless you can speak Arabic. You have to pray in Arabic. You need to read the Quran in Arabic, etc. And so we see once again this process of abnegation that tends to take place. So just something to be considered and cognizant of when we talk about why, um, if you're looking at from an African-centered frame of reference, why Abrahamic religions are considered problematic. In fact, being in Philadelphia, you probably are familiar with Dr. Molefi Asante. He's the director of the Black Studies program at Temple University, as they
Okay.
call it, the Department of Africology. And of course, he in his book Afrocentricity, which he wrote in 1980. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to find it this quick. Probably not. That he provided an African-centered critique of Islam in his book Afrocentricity. So I got it here somewhere, but it's been so long I won't be able to find it. But so just something to be, of course, cognizant of when people try to say, "Oh, well, this is an African religion," and if you actually understood African history and culture, you would know that that's not the case. But
Yes, I'm aware of that, but I believe it's more a part of, well, it goes deep. So from my understanding, right, um the Arabs were involved in the African slave trade prior to the Europeans, right?
yeah, so yes, you had the trans-Saharan slave trade, absolutely. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
And the trans-Saharan slave trade, it was vehemently anti-black. The term abd, which means slave, which is still used to this day in the Islamic world to describe African people. In fact, if I could, uh, the gym I go to, well, one of the gyms that I go to, there was a brother from Somalia who's, of course, Muslim, and he wanted to have a conversation with me offline. And he shared that he wanted to speak to me about this particular issue because he knew I was a Pan-Africanist. So I'm like, okay, right? And so he said, but I have an issue. He said, I love my religion, but my religion is extremely anti-black. And so he kind of gave me a little bit of history. He said, I'm sure you're aware of this. I said, I am. And so I said, you may need to focus on the principles rather than the religion itself, right? So there's a long history of this. We find evidence, right? Even Islamic leaders, even the Caliph, writing about how African people were dirty, they were uncivilized, dark skinned, kinky hair, etc., that they paid less money for African slaves. They would even make them work more labor-intensive jobs, right? Black men were made eunuchs, right? Black women were enslaved, particularly as concubines. Black men were made mercenaries, expendable products of war. So there was a long history of anti-blackness uh, in the Islamic faith that dates back to the earliest days of the Islamic faith. For example, we know that Prophet Muhammad, his Bilal, the first caller to prayer, was his slave, and Bilal was a black man. So we see this practice of, I mean, many people even argue that Islam may be even more anti-black than Christianity because Jesus didn't have a black slave, and Prophet Muhammad did.
Yes. But then a lot of countries or black countries in Africa adopted the religious faith eventually, right?
Right, and we have to talk about how did that come to pass, right? And it was through conquest.
Yes.
So, right, it's the same as when we find most African Americans are Christians. It's because it was through what? Conquest. It was convert or die. To be quite honest. And then, even in Islamic enslavement, the only way one could be manumitted or freed
Yeah.
from slavery was they had to what? Adopt, they had to become a Muslim. So it reinforced what? The superiority of the Islamic faith, right? Because the only way you could be freed was to actually adopt a religion of those who are enslaving you. So we see, these are the issues that we're looking at and that we're facing.
Right.
Yeah. And if I could go back to this, is of course we're talking about 7th century. When they took the Muslim armies went to go into North Africa, they came to Egypt, and if I can recall, I've read this in a number of spaces, but there's even now by the contributions to civilization by Dr. Brother Anthony T. Browder talks about this when they came in. They said, well, don't destroy the library. It has a lot of information here. And they said, well, if it contradicts the Quran, we're going to destroy it. And if it agrees with the Quran, then it's superfluous and we're going to destroy it. So we see, this is an issue, even from an Islamic standpoint, having artifacts, statues, and so on and so forth is considered haram, right? So once again, we talk about it being incongruent with the culture, in traditional African culture. And by traditional African culture, I mean African culture independent of European and Arab influence. Having statues honoring one's ancestors, culture motifs, etc., is part of the culture. But from an Islamic standpoint, that is considered haram, idol worship. And so we even see there was a practice in many Islamic nations to where when they developed theocratic governments, they would destroy all of the statues or in the actual country. So we see there are aspects that are incongruent with the culture, and Dr. Ali Mazuri does a great job of outlining this in his book, The Africans of Triple Heritage.
Well, I always was wondering, like, that one king from Mali who became like the richest man in the world. Wasn't he in his country or practices of the Islamic faith?
So yes, we do know that Mansa Musa was Muslim. However, the literature I've read states that the entire country was not Islamic. Right, there were some Islamic leaders, particularly during that time in medieval Africa. The elites were Muslims, but the regular citizens still practiced traditional African faiths. One of the issues that arose was that, of course, the elites were traders, right? They would trade and so on and so forth. And so when Muslims came west to Western Sudan, in the Islamic faith, in the Islamic world, you would buy and sell and trade only with people who are Muslim. And so this created an issue to where now you have a class divide based not only on aristocracy or people who are in government positions, but now that divide is even rooted in religion. Right, and so there's even literature that talks about the negative effect it had in terms of African elites then beginning to look down upon their, the rank and file citizens of these African nation states because they were practicing traditional African faith, because those traditional African faiths from the Islamic doctrine, the Abrahamic religious doctrine, are viewed as purely pagan and rooted in devil worship. So a lot of issues here that we found.
Yes. So how did Mansa Musa accumulate such wealth? Was it just from...
since he was the king of the Emperor of the Malayan Empire, and Mali at the time was lush with gold and gold fields. As the emperor, he basically that the wealth, the gold belonged to him, right? So, yeah.
Okay, so it was just from the natural resources in the Mali area.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, so it wasn't from trading with Arab people.
No,
it was just from
the gold was just there. So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, in fact, we find one of the earliest maps in Western Europe of Africa, West Africa in particular, depicts Mansa Musa, the king, holding a golden nugget. Right. So many people argue that because of his famous pilgrimage, where he went to Mecca for the Hajj, then came back and was distributing gold everywhere, caused people to become aware of course, not only Mansa Musa, right, the famous king, but also as a result of the wealth of the African continent.
Right. Yeah, but the thing with Islam in the United States and how it was brought on by Elijah Muhammad was a little bit different of a sect or denomination, so to speak, of the Islamic faith.
Yes,
it was a little bit different than
absolutely.
The Arab.
I'm aware of that. Same with Noble Drew Ali.
Yeah. Even though, however, when I did attend that school, Sister Claire Muhammad in Philadelphia, my primary Arabic teacher was an Arab man. But our imam was black. All of the instructors in the school were black. All of the security officers, all of the faculty in the school were black people. So it was a predominantly Nation of Islam school that attended or worked for the black people of the United States, as opposed to the Arabs who might have like some type of society or some type of culture where they see black people as being less than, So I guess that's how the Nation of Islam is different, where they adopted some of parts of the Arabic religion or parts of the Islamic religion, but kind of molded it to fit African American culture.
Yeah, and I understand where you're coming from. Several scholars have made that argument, particularly Dr. John Henry Clark. I tend to have a harsher critique, right? Because they're still adopting an alien faith. I'm trying to see if I could bring up um, this section in his book, because actually I have my students read it in my class. Okay, here we go. And I'm going to bring this out here. We can, okay, let me share my screen. Good conversation we're having, though. Boom. So we go here. So this, of course, is an excerpt from Dr. Malefica Santi's book, Afrocentricity. And so he talks about, he says the adoption. Oh, here we go. So this is page 2. He says the adoption of Islam is as contradictory to the diaspora and Afrocentricity as Christianity has been. Christianity has been dealt with admirably by other writers, notably Karenga, talking about Dr. Malanda Karenga, the progenitor promoter of Kwanzaa, advocate of creator of Kwanzaa. But Islam within the African community has yet to come under Afrocentric scrutiny. Understand that this oversight is due more to a sympathetic audience than it is to the perfection of Islam for African Americans. The Nation of Islam, under the leadership of Elijah Muhammad, was a transitional nationalist movement. The present emphasis of Islam in America is more cultural and religious. This is a serious and perhaps tragic mistake, because apart from its historical contradictions, there exists monumental contradictions in its application. All religions rise out of the deification of someone's nationalism, right? Golly, I forget the brother who wrote the book, Intellectual Warfare, but he talks about Black cultural nationalism. This is what religion comes out of. So this is what he's basing. He's building on his scholarship. Understand that this, and you will discern the key to our own victory. Afrocentrists understand and appreciate the transforming power of Islam, and indeed recognize the same power within Christianity, Judaism, Buddhism, Hinduism, and Marxism. There's no mystery, in fact. It is predictable that there should be transforming and energizing force in all religions. Islam has no distinction except in a specific history, which has been deified. How has it been deified for the world? So this is where we really get into it, right? He says the organization of Islam has been effective not because of any more special relationship to God than other people, but because of the genius of its early leaders. Consider the factors which have contributed to the overpowering submissiveness of Africans, non-Arabs, to culture and religion of the Arabs. First, the language of God is said to be Arabic. Secondly, the pilgrimage must be made to Mecca. Thirdly, to pray effectively, one must turn his or his head toward Mecca. Fourthly, Muhammad is said to be the last and most important prophet. Fifthly, certain Arabizing customs are looked upon as valuable and significant, e.g., the change of name to Arab name, Arab clothes, and female subordination, to name a few. Now let us consider why this is anathema to Afrocentrism, like Christianity makes us submit to a strange God. So once again, just something to consider when we talk about providing an Afrocentric critique of these particular issues, right? So family, if you want to tap in, be part of the conversation, the link is in the chat, the link is in the description. Hope you all having a great evening. If not, we're going to cut things short, but definitely want to hear your thoughts. We kind of got off the road there, but of course the basis of the conversation was, why do Black people buy new outfit for Easter? Definitely want you all to tap in and be part of the conversation as we discuss this issue, particularly issue of conspicuous consumption in the Black community and the social economic ramifications of said consumption. So definitely tap in, family. Hope you all are doing well. If you're watching, make sure you hit the subscribe, like button, thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up. Hit that notification bell for future updates on each video. So I think we're going to probably do 3 videos for the rest of the week. So make sure you tap in and be part of the conversation this evening. Once again, the link is in the chat. The link is in the description. Tap in if you want to be part of the conversation. All right. All right, family. Well, if not, I think we're going to go ahead and let things go. But once again, make sure you hit the subscribe and the like button as well as the notification bell. So next time, you all know what to do. Peace.